Hi, my name is Helen. I'm going to take you through a quick full body weights workout that you can just do at home in your living room like me, or of course you can do it in the gym if you like. If you just have a selection of like one set of dumbbells, that is fine. I think most people that work out from home don't have the variety. If you have a bunch, then I would always say when you're working the upper body, a little bit lighter, whenever we get to the lower body, a little bit heavier. We're going to start with warm up and finish with the cool down. And so make sure you do stick around for both of them to prepare your body and help real body with recovery. Take breaks wherever you need. Make sure you're never in any kind of pain. Pain is not gain. So if you're in pain, just pause, regress, maybe even switch to another exercise or just have a break if you needed to. And if it's something that feels quite serious, make sure you go and see a professional. I'm just going to warm up the shoulders to start with. So you have a few big and slow circles of the arms. And go in both directions. And then swing the arms forward and back so you get a dynamic stretch of your chest and of your back. Obviously, we're in my living room and it's warm. It is warm today. I think it's going to be a sweaty one for Helen. If you're new to me, by the way, you'll know that this is, you'll know quickly, to be fair. This isn't necessarily production value. It's just me in my home, hopefully helping you and yours. I chat with whatever I think, but I hopefully get to take you through a good workout, even if I haven't got the whole production levels behind me like I know some other people have. One day, maybe. Squats, feet a little bit wide and hips, drop your hips back and down. Keep your spine really long and your knees are tracking forwards towards the middle of your foot. Now, it's the first time doing squats. They do not have to be as deep as you can get them. Just start to work into like an easy range and progressively try and get deeper and deeper as you go through. Good morning. Step your feet under the hips, toes forward, fingertips on temples and push your hips back. Stand up. I'll show you from the side, hips back and stand. You should feel a stretch in your hamstrings. So if you haven't got that, then your hips may have gone down into a squat. So think about pulling your bum almost backwards and upwards. Perfect. Squats again, and this time around, maybe add little pauses so you can get a little bit more depth. Gradually, we're aiming to get your butt in line with your knees and your thighs roughly parallel to the floor. Perfect. Good mornings again. And it might be that if your hamstrings are feeling tight at the start, they're quite small, and gradually you can push your hips back a little bit further. Now your upper body, squeeze your shoulder blades together so you pull your elbows back so you've got tension in your upper back as well. Perfect. Get that hinge position again, but arms drop in front of you. And then reach arms forward, return the hands. Now like a capital Y, up and out to the side. And now just to the side, touch your T's. Oh, just the hinge I's and Y's though. So just go forward into capital I, and then slightly out into Y. It's usually I's, Y's and T's. Come down to all fours, please. Cat and cows. Arch your back and round your back. So start to warm and mobilize through your back. I know I say not good production money, but there are crummies all over the floor. That's grim. And then some push-ups on your knees. So take your hands wider than your chest, lean over your hands and drop your chest and push yourself back up. Or walk your hands further forward, drop your hips forward and do the same thing again. Again, they don't need to be crazy deep just yet. Try not to do them on your toes, even if you're really able to. You're just warming up your joints, your shoulders, your triceps. Thread the needle, come to all four. Your muscles and your joints. I said joints and then started listing muscles. Hey, my brain. So yeah, just warm in the back. And hopefully just from having moved a bit, you feel your body feels a little bit warmer, a bit more ready for a workout. Push-ups again. This time try and gradually work to find some depth in your push-up. And depth, you're aiming for your chest roughly in line with your shoulders. You don't have to get the chest all the way to the floor. That tends to go a little bit more into the front of the shoulder. Perfect. Jump up. Have a little break, have a sip of water, and then we're going to go 2 rounds of an exercise. and then 2 rounds of the next exercises. I start to think I've just loaded 2 workouts. I'm like, oh, which one do I do? So you have whenever you do arms, maybe lighter weights. If you, like me, I'm just going to be working with 1 set today, so it's your kind of medium pair. Hammer into bicep curls. Hammer curl is with palms turned in. A bicep curl is palms turned forward. So we're going to twist on the way up. So thumbs face up, and then twist them out to the side, and then twist them to face up. So you're twisting and rotating on the way down, working both heads of the biceps. Your bicep is the muscle in the front of the arm, from the elbow up to the shoulder. And it's a small muscle, so it might need a small weight. We're trying to isolate it as much as we can. How? By keeping the rest of the body as stable as possible, including the elbows. So the elbows will try and move forward or come backwards. And you're trying to avoid that, keeping your shoulders underneath your elbows. Perfect. Squat to the bottom half. You have the option, if you can, front racket. So that's the weight in front of you, feet wide in the hips. We're going to squat down, come up halfway, all the way down again, stand to the top. To the bottom, halfway up, to the bottom, to the top. If the weight is too much up here, hold your weight down low in between your legs. Down, halfway, down, and to the top. So you notice my pace as well. So lots of people make it really small. They just kind of bounce in the bottom range where it's not building tension. So aiming to maybe have a little pause, control it, down, and rise. It's one of the biggest things I see with people when they're exercising. It's just going a little bit fast. They're actually racing out of the intensity instead of building intensity. So if you can, control every bit of the movement. Perfect. Coming to an Arnold press. So getting your arms up, palms face you, and then they go elbows out and wide to the side as you twist your palms face me. Press overhead. And same again, rotate back in. So elbows go out and open, up and in, down, turn, back towards you. As strictly as you can, meaning trying not to use your body at all. To really brace strong through your core to prevent your back arching. And if you struggle getting it up, then use your legs to push up, but then try your hardest to control the way down. Nice. 3 and 1 RDLs, so palms face your thighs. Like the good mornings, we hinge, hips go back. For 2, for 3, we rise. 1 and 2 and 3 and rise. Hips push back, weight goes into the heels, then drive through the heels, so drive your hips forward as you simultaneously lift your chest. So the aim is it's not a back exercise, it's a leg exercise. Stamp your feet into the floor, push down as you drive your hips forward, and hopefully feel your hamstrings and glutes stretching here, and they contract and whip you back up again. Watch out that your back hasn't started rounding. Now you're holding some dumbbells in front of you. Activate your upper back to keep your shoulders back. Get rid of one weight. Hold the weight in your right hand, left fingertips to temples, side bend, and stand. Bend as far as you can. Stand up. Loads of you might know. Loads of you. I have a handful of people that do my videos, and I have a whole load of clients. My clients all know I love a side bend. It just feels like a nice stretch to me. And yes, I feel the squeeze. I feel it working, but I personally never think it feels too taxing like a squat or say a push-up. But I always feel like I've worked it the next day. So it's working. It stretches the side of your waist. Stretch, 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 stretch. And then it squeezes to stand you back up again. Just see how far you can go before your body bends in other ways, and then just switch your hands. So be mindful not to go forward with your bending, try and keep it to the side. And if your range is that you can only go a small amount down the thigh, perfect. If you can go further than me, please do. Don't be restricted by my range of motion. Keeping the hips stable. This was set 1 of 2. And we're going to do all of that again. Oh, for joy. But that is 2 of 2 when we go through the second time. Perfect. So have a little shake, have a break, have a sip of water. You know how it felt? What you're aiming to feel by the end of every set is that you feel like the last few reps is a bit of a squeeze, it's a bit of a struggle. You feel like you're being challenged, but you don't feel like you can't do it without completely losing your form. Or if you're needing to have loads of breaks. So if you're finding you're needing loads of breaks, try and pick up a lighter weight next time. If you find it super, super easy, try doing things like going even slower. And then maybe also investing in some heavier dumbbells over time. But when you're ready, no changes. And the hammer curl into the bicep curl. So pick up your dumbbells, palms by your side, thumbs are turning upwards, and then a twist out to the side. And then lower down. One of the most common things I tend to see people do is not go all the way down. So they stay here with a slight bent arm. Fully straighten your arm at the bottom without swinging back. So you almost have a gentle squeeze of your tricep. That's the muscle down the back of the arm. Your leg. But it means that we get to target the weakest part of the bicep, which is that part that initiates the move. So it's right at the bottom here. This part here is one of the toughest parts. So try and train it to get stronger by getting there. Perfect. Squats for the bottom half. Choose if you want to hold your weights low or high. You can also pick up one weight or just do body weight if it gets to be a struggle. Feet a bit wider. Down. Halfway up. Down. Rise all the way. From the side, so you're trying to get your butt roughly in line with your knees. Keep your spine long and the chest a bit lifted. So it's not that it's so lifted that your back's arching, but at the same time, trying to avoid collapsing down into your thighs. I just buffed my throat with the dumbbell. The other day I was teaching a class, wearing a microphone, and my shoulder clicked, and I really hate clicking shoulders. And I just went into the microphone. They didn't hear my shoulder click. And I just went, so not cool. Release, coming to our Arnold press. Palms face your thighs. And then elbows out to the side, then press. Come down and then close as you twist the blades towards you. Out, press, down, close. Again, just working different parts of the shoulder joint and shoulder muscle. And it's called an Arnold press. I actually know this. Sometimes exercises I have no idea why they're called what they're called. But I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of, I guess, thought up or invented this move. But yeah, how cool is that? Can you imagine like a Helen press? Also the name burpees, by the way. Apparently burpee is someone that was called Mr. Burpee. And that's why it's called a burpee. Right, bring your hands on your sides. Thighs. 3 and 2 and 1. Rise up for the stretch in your hamstrings. Lots of people feel they have to go to the floor, by the way, and that tends to mean that you round into your back as you try and get there. Some people's flexibility might allow it, but really you're aiming for the dumbbell to be between your knees and maybe like the mid shin, and that's it. Pop. Slow and slow and slow. We load, then drive. Pop. Perfect. Getting rid of one dumbbell, holding weight in the right hand, left fingertips to the temples, side bend to the right. This is one of the only exercises where if I do body weight, lightweight or heavier weight, I can kind of manage, you know, I said about the struggle, I can kind of manage to keep going and I still feel the same the next day. So yeah, you might not find yourself feeling like, ugh. And when I say about reaching the end of every set, feeling fatigue, you might be doing your workout just to simply move your body, feel good, get a bit of blood pumping, get some energy, and not necessarily be training to progress. or get stronger, in which case you don't have to get to that struggle. You can enjoy every single moment of the movement. Switch arms, switch sides. But generally, if we're aiming for progression, we want to be challenging ourselves to the point where we really feel fatigue. That's where we start to build more muscle. And then when you build more muscle, you're stronger. So the same weight doesn't challenge you as much. And that's where things like you can go heavier with your weight, or various little bits like add more reps, add more time, add more pulses, add more pauses. You know, like the bottom pulse and the squats and the 3 and 1 in the RDL, they are literally there just so that we spend a bit more time under tension with the legs, for those of you that have the same weight for the upper and the lower body like me. Oh, round 2 of 2 is done. Well done. Have a little shake off. Have a little sip of water. Next 2 sets. I have to just check. Yeah, great. Like I said, I just loaded 2 workouts at the same time and then went to press on one, and one has a finisher and one doesn't. Hopefully you'll be pleased to know this one has no finisher. So this one, we just go through the second round. It's 2 different types of exercise. 2 different types of exercises? It's different exercises. And we'll come down to the floor, please. So we're going to start with the chest press. So if you can, it's palms facing forward towards your thighs. Dumbbells are kind of facing away from you, and then your elbows come down and wide to the floor, and then up and in. So going down and wide, up and in. So if this is too much of a struggle, to make it easier, bring the elbows a little bit closer, and or maybe use 1 dumbbell. If your weight is far too light for you, maybe try a chest fly instead, where you take the dumbbells out wide to the side. We're aiming to whichever one you choose. You feel it kind of pull on your chest and then squeeze your chest. Pull on the chest and squeeze your chest. And if you're like me and you're doing it on the floor instead of on a bench, you don't need to worry about whether or not you'll be going too low, because the floor will stop you. But if you can get your arms to touch the floor, fab. Right, 1 weight or both weights on your hips. You're going to lift your hips up to a hip bridge, come down a little bit, up again, down all the way. Lift, a little lower, lift, and down. Now you can rest your dumbbells any way you like. I feel like with everyone with like their different hips and pelvises, I often like to do the little teepee. I know some people stack it one on top of the other. Some people it's just too uncomfortable, so they use 1 weight. So I don't want to tell you exactly how to rest it. Just make sure you hold on to it so it doesn't fall onto your face. And now we're hoping to refill your bum. So your feet should be a slight bend in the knee. They're not as close to your bum as you can get them. That tends to get the quads. They're also not really far away. And that should get you isolating your bum. Come to a lat pull over. So 1 dumbbell or 2. Weights over your head. Press them into one another if you've got the 2. And take the dumbbells over behind your head. And then reset over the shoulders. So dumbbells come behind your head. And reset. So if 2 is too much, use 1 dumbbell. Or you can reduce your range and not go all the way to the floor. So go as far as you can. This works your lats, that's the muscles on your back down the side underneath your armpits. But it also is massively a core exercise. So as you reach your arms over, it's trying to pull your abs and flare your ribcage and arch your back away from the floor. And you're trying your hardest just to resist that movement, and that's where your abs come in. Perfect. Again, you can choose to have both dumbbells, 1 dumbbell, no dumbbells. You're going to take your feet much further away from you this time, and you can have your toes up. Then lift your hips off and just hold. So we should still feel the muscles in the bum working to hold ourselves up. But hoping to also feel our hamstrings. That's the muscle down the back of the leg from the knee. How you can feel it more is think of digging your heels down and dragging them towards your bum. They won't actually move. But if you think about that motion, that digging and dragging, then you should feel them. If you feel too much, bring your feet in a little bit closer. If you can do more, go further away. If you feel it in your back, just keep your hips a bit closer to the floor and try and tuck your pelvis under more. You can also do it with hips down, but just digging in the heels. It's going to get the same thing working. Perfect. Get rid of one dumbbell. Hold the weight in both arms, reach overhead, stretch your legs out long, and then you come up to kind of V-sit, bent leg with right leg. Extend again, same leg again. Right leg lifts every time. So stretching out, remember like the lat pullover where I said that's kind of resisting and pulling on your abs, and you're trying to resist your ribs from flaring. And then you squeeze your abs and use your hips to pull your thigh towards you. Now, if you really struggle with this one, you may not be able to sit up on your bum, in which case you just make it a crunch. You pull your knee in and you crunch up so the lower back stays on the floor. And if you feel this in your back, maybe bring your left foot in a little bit closer to you, and that will give you a little bit extra help in tilting your pelvis. And then all you gotta do is do the other side. So stretching out long, resisting your ribs flaring, trying to sit up onto the bum, and shooting out again. Option to just make it a crunch instead. So we're going to get a break, and this is again round 1 or 2. And once we've done our second round, other than stretching, we're done. Oh joy. Perfect. Have a little break. It's up to you if you want to. I always like to come up and stand in between each set. If you feel you get dizzy, don't, because you still got to get up and then down again. If you want to stay on the floor, then do. It's only 30-second rest, but yeah, have a sip of water. We do it again. So upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, core. Yes, done. Full body workout. When you are ready, lie back down. Palms facing your thighs, shoulders away from your ears, and open, close. You're attempting to try and get your triceps to the backs of the arms and the elbows to the floor. At the bottom, check that your wrists, if you're in the chest press, wrists over the elbows rather than over your shoulders, or way wider out, or you might start to struggle. Because we want to target the chest, just make sure that your elbows haven't come up like this, where they're up next to your ears and the dumbbells by your face. Instead, you want to just keep the shoulders, dumbbells down in line with your chest. And now really squeeze your chest muscles as you push the weight away and squeeze the plates in towards the middle. Squeeze. Perfect. Weight hip bridge with the top half pulse. 1 dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, up to you. But bent knee position, lift hips up, lower down, up again, all the way. Tucking your pelvis, squeezing your butt to drive the hips off. Keep squeezing as you dip, squeeze harder as you lift again, and all the way down. So remember how I said if you've got the same weights, I've got you covered in terms of more time with those tension in the muscles. That's what the top half, bottom half, or in case of the extended hip bridge, the hold is doing. And really clench your bum. Clench both butt cheeks evenly. Really try and get the bum firing up. If you do notice things like your glutes aren't really doing much, you are not able to squeeze them, that's good information. We'll just try and do some videos to find more glute activation coming forwards. Wow, got there eventually. Lap over, pull over, 1 dumbbell or 2. Get up and over behind your head. And release. Again, it may well be that you need to do 1 dumbbell only. You may need to reduce your range. But again, slow and control, so you can control what's happening with your rib cage. Are you keeping it pinned down? Your lower back, are you trying to keep it from lifting and arching away from the floor? Love a lap pull over. Abby loves a lap pull over if she ever does this. Hi, Abby. Perfect. Extended hip bridge hold, so weighted if you can, 1 weight or body weight, but extend the legs further away. Toes can be up, tilt your pelvis under, lift your hips up, and dig heels in. You might notice, if you can see me, that my hips are hardly lifted off the floor, so it's not going to be a massive lift. And if you find yourself trying to lift really high, you'll probably start feeling pain in your lower back. So hips don't need to be high, but it's the pressure of digging the heels in and trying to drag your carpet or your floor towards you. Get the hamstrings going. This is how we do it, just breathe. I think this is the worst one for me. And get rid of one dumbbell only, to be fair, unless you want to use two, in which case press them together again. Single leg jackknife, right leg every time. Really trying your hardest to crunch up and sit up onto your bum. Next thing you can think about challenging yourself more is to move slower. So really control it like you're moving in slow motion and see if you can get your shoulders and your foot to land at the same time. So I didn't do that time. So trying to really make everything work together simultaneously, and we're really controlling which muscles are working, rather than mostly we tend to either let the upper body or the lower body just dump down and we control one part. So we're really trying to think about controlling both. Switching sides and we're done up in the stretch. It is so hard to control them both at the same time. I tend to overshoot. Come on, same time. Oh, tough to do. It's funny, isn't it? I think sometimes when we move in slow motion, it looks like it should be easy, but it's much harder. Which, similarly, by the way, if you're struggling, really use the weight to help you. You can swing it to help you come up easier, but try and control the downward phase, because speed can help make it easier if needed. You're in the final 5 seconds. How much control can you go and can you crunch any higher? Yes. And relax. So you can get rid of your weight. Oh, take a forward stretch. Just stretch your arms and legs out really long on the floor. Arch your back. And now hug your knees in towards your body. Give your knees a little bit of a squeeze. Drop your left foot to the floor. Cross your right ankle over the thigh and allow the knee to open. We want to stretch the muscle of the bum. If this is plenty, stay here, or bring the left thigh towards you and hold it and hug it in. I'm working through an injury at the moment, so I'm going to keep that down. So the stretch pain, again, shouldn't be pain. It shouldn't feel like you're going to snap a muscle. It should be slightly uncomfortable. You feel a pulling sensation. And then as we hold, you should feel it relax. If you haven't felt it relax around about now, ease off. And if you have, try and pull in a little bit closer. Perfect. Switch sides. Cross your ankle over, open the knees, stay here, or hug the leg towards you. Try and find that sweet spot where you feel it pulling. And then as you hold, in about 5 or so seconds, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, you should feel it start to relax. That's not where you give up on it, but that's where you maybe just go a little bit deeper, or if you haven't felt it relax, ease off a little bit. Okay, great, perfect. And then land your left foot to the floor again, pull the right leg in and start to straighten the leg as much as you can. Holding onto the back of the leg, somewhere above or below the knee or onto the foot. If you want more, straighten your left leg away from you. If you need a bit less, foot in closer and you can bend your knee more. Switching sides. Perfect. Rock yourself up. Come up to seating or standing. So maybe kneeling or standing. Reach up and bend to one side. Feel the stretch in your side waist. And then switch sides. You can use your hand to push your hips out a little bit more. Reach as far as you can. Perfect. Chest stretch, hands on the lower back, roll back the shoulders, and think about your elbows touching one another. So they probably won't, but you're squeezing in that direction to feel the stretch into the chest. Or lace your fingers behind your back if that feels better. I usually do a combination of both. So I link and then I press, and it helps me with really opening through the chest and shoulders. But make it work for you. Perfect. Back stretch. Link your fingers, tuck your chin around your back, push your hands forwards. And if you think about pulling your knuckles apart, you should feel the stretch across your upper back a little bit more. Perfect. Quad stretch. So if you're like me and you're kneeling, come all the way up standing, hold on to something if you need to for balance. Pull one foot in towards the bum and tuck your pelvis under. So if you can, you work to close your knees because that starts to stretch as much as the quad as possible, but you might not be able to. La 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 la, la la la. Switch your legs. How do you feel? Hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you feel your whole body has worked. Felt a bit of fatigue. I love hearing from people, by the way. If you try a workout, do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If it's nice. So far, I had no trolls yet, but you never know if that is on its way. And if you've got any questions as well, just ask me. I would love to help. Have a little shake off and give yourself always a big pat on the back, round of applause, a big well done for doing it. It's tough to do, but you did it and you got to the end if you're still here seeing this. So thank you very much. My name is Helen. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you'll see me here for another video soon.